Okay, so this is going to be a ancestral message for Libra, and I'm doing it in night vision so that in case any ancestors decide to join this reading, you'll be able to see some movement around me. So for Libra, this message is for a specific Libra, is what I am told, and it's going to address balance, correction, and perspective. So what I got was when this came through, we're two people facing the opposite direction but still staying connected by a glowing thread between their hearts. The thread, it would tighten and then loosen, tighten and then loosen, so it was kind of like a tension between the two people. I then asked for identifiers for this Libra, so that when I gave this information, it would be a little bit more of a confirmation for the Libra. So the identifiers I got were: this Libra has a window with sheer curtains, and if I was to stand outside this window, I could see a phone light glowing out of this window with the curtains. This Libra often scrolls. They do late night scrolling a lot because they're overthinking and over processing. This Libra also has either a cup of coffee or a cup of tea that they have let go cold next to them. And that's because it's signifying they've forgotten about themselves while thinking about other people. This Libra could also be having a tight feeling in the upper chest area, back and shoulders, from holding emotional weight. They're feeling exhausted, and the word trying kept coming up. So they're not physically tired, but they are emotionally, and they're not overworked, but they're over feeling things. This Libra is constantly considering other people's needs, replaying conversations, and often wondering what they could have done different or how they upset somebody. You feel like you're in a pause period, and that's because you're not sure if you should stay or go. You feel almost ready, but not quite yet. You recently felt misunderstood, and you've gone quiet because explaining just feels too heavy. That could possibly be because you have already explained the issue, and whoever this is concerning, whether it's a partner, a child, or roommate, parent, whatever, you feel that you just don't have the energy to keep explaining it over and over and over again, and going back through that stress, that cycle of stress. Says you have a gentle personality, but a real strong inner truth. Okay, so you're harder on yourself than you are other people. You internally feel clear about what is right and what is wrong. So I'm not quite sure why you have allowed yourself to get into this put on pause period with this situation, because it seems like you're pretty headstrong on doing what's right and what's wrong. This is also something that you've been feeling for about 3 to 6 months. You've been going back and forth on this issue. If you haven't already, then you're about to experience a very small breaking point. It's going to be quiet. I don't think the people around you are going to really know you're going through it. And you're going to know you're going through it is because you're going to keep telling yourself, I just can't keep doing this. So whatever this is emotionally exhausting. Energetically, it's draining you. And it's starting to impede on other areas of your life. This Libra is emotionally tired, right? You're standing at a crossroad of feeling misunderstood, and you're now at a point where you don't think or believe that this person or this situation is ever going to understand you. So your spirit guides, your team did come through. How that works is I reach out to mine and I ask mine, is there a message that I can get to somebody? And your team would have talked to my team, and my team relays it back to me. So this is your message from your team. It says, you are trying to make a fair decision while missing one key piece of truth. So they don't want you to make any decisions right now until you go back through everything and make sure that every information, all the facts you're obtaining is actually truthful, and you're not missing any key parts. Because even the most minute information that you're missing could possibly change the route of your decision making. It says you are absorbing other people's emotional weight and mistaking it for your own. So if you are questioning your intuition and your decision making, and you're taking this situation to other people and asking for their input, you're not just getting their input, but you are getting their own emotional weight, especially if they have experienced a situation similar to what you're going through and it wasn't positive for them. They're going to reflect on you, their experience, their emotions, and everything that came with that, and it's going to paint a negative picture for you that is going to persuade the way that you're really feeling and thinking. So sad to say, but you're gonna have to start from the ground up on making this decision, and you're gonna have to cancel out what everyone has said, what everyone has told you, and you're gonna have to go back through your memories, your conversations from start to finish without other people's say or commentary, and reflect back on your own feelings in those moments and make your decision that way. You have permission from your team to always choose yourself without needing any type of guilt attached to it. So let's say you're at a point where you do feel like people's commentary could be because maybe they're jealous of you. Maybe they disagree with what you're doing. Maybe they don't like your partner. Whatever it may be, right? And so then you're going to go back through and make your own decision after you revisit everything that's happened, your conversations, your memories, whatnot, your feelings, and you're still at a point where you just don't know. Your team is letting you know that it is okay to then choose you. You can take a break. You can go with what you feel might be correct. But it's probably best to communicate this with the other party so that if after you make that decision you realize that maybe people had a little bit more influence than you expected they had, and you realize that it tainted your decision making, it will allow you to be able to come back and try again. But you have to be honest with yourself, and you have to be honest with the other person that's involved here. If you're somebody that goes by always having to check in with what other people think on situations, you're going to find a lot of your scenarios not working out really to your benefit. And if you can catch that pattern, then you need to realize that there's people in your life that are purposely leading you down the wrong path. I used to always want to know why, and sometimes there is no why. Sometimes it's just because they don't want anyone doing better than them. Comes down to competition, jealousy, or just straight evil, right? Those are people you need to get rid of out of your life, okay? The people with the types of decisions you're making should be neutral. They should be able to help you look at the other party's side and your side without putting an opinion in there. You're currently overbalancing things. Okay, you're trying to keep peace and harmony and fairness at the cost of your own truth. So I don't know if this is a living situation and people just aren't getting along and you're possibly thinking about kicking somebody out, or if this is like an integrated family, maybe your kids and your partner. You have to figure out, you have to pinpoint where the chaos is coming from. Okay? If you're having issues with a relationship and it's making you turn on your partner, you have to figure out where that chaos is coming from. If it is being thrown at you guys from outside sources, you're gonna have to learn to shut that off, not allow it to reach your relationship. And that comes from putting people at a distance at their place. Once they start getting in your head or making comments about your partner or blaming your partner, you have to cut it off. You have to walk away from the conversation if they won't shut up. If it's your kids, you need to put them in check. If you're in a situation where you're taking care of grandkids and it's your child's kids and you're getting overwhelmed, you need to figure out where you're enabling and figure out what part your child is responsible enough to take on and hand some of that off to them. That could be because you have a control aspect about you. And that goes all the way back to childhood, things not going right and causing anxiety and fear and stuff like that. Okay? There's so many scenarios that you could be going through, because I don't know who you are. This is just a message I was given to put out there. And I don't judge people, okay? Because I've been through a lot my damn self. And I know what it takes and how hard it is to have to make certain decisions, and you can't just make them based off your feelings. You can't make them based off of what other people say. You have to find the core issue of it, and you have to figure out if it's a valid issue or if it has been fed by outside components to have made it an issue. The message then says that you feel stuck in indecision, people-pleasing, self-doubt. You have unseen, or it says you have seen both sides deeply, that you have allowed it to stop you from moving. Now, I don't know if that means moving on or moving states. Let's just say it's moving states, okay? You've seen both sides to the issue, and you feel it deeply. That's a good thing, okay? If you're moving states and you feel like you can't because it's going to hurt one or the other, at this point, with the emotional state of exhaustion you're in, you need to worry about yourself first. So if moving states is going to ensure that you and whatever it is you're taking care of stays healthy, then that's what you should do. But if you feel deeply for all parties, like it says, involved, then just ensure you keep contact with all parties, and you don't isolate anyone or kick anyone out of a scenario. You keep everything open. If it is implying that you're not able to move forward in life with what you want to do, because you, in a sense, have taken on the role of holding multiple people's responsibilities, then it is now time for you to start distributing those responsibilities back to their owners. And it's okay, you can guide them on how to take those responsibilities and be responsible with them, but you don't live through that for them. You've already lived your stuff through. This part, they emphasize strongly that you listen to what I'm about to say next. It's very important to what you're going through, and they want you to listen to this carefully, so I am going to read it word for word on how it came through. You are not selfish for choosing what aligns with you. You are not unfair for saying no. You are not responsible for other people's emotional reactions. And balance does not mean self-abandonment. Avoiding conflict is still a choice, okay? You can still choose to do that. I wouldn't, but you can still. And it often is the one that hurts you the most. So you do avoid conflict. You're the one that just sweeps it under the rug or doesn't bring it up, doesn't address it, because you just don't want to argue it out. That's a form of enabling. That is also showing and teaching them that it is okay to do what they're doing. And if you do it so many times, it becomes a habit and you turn into a doormat. This is the tricky part, and I don't like this part either for, anybody. This part is hard. We ask for clarity on situations, right? We would like to know that the choice we are making is the right one. Unfortunately, Divine wants our bodies, our system, to be the one to help us find that out. Only then, after we make the decision, do we get our clarity on, I fucked up, or, okay, I made the right decision this time. So, you're sitting in pause mode, waiting for clarity to come in. Your gut that keeps nagging at you and telling you to do this certain thing that you're pushing off to the side and not wanting to address or think about, that is the choice your body wants you to make. Divine will then give you clarity after you make that choice. It's not right or wrong. It's a learning process. It's something you gotta learn. You can't avoid the lesson. Says your intuition has been whispering, but they've been asking others instead. So yeah, you've been going to other people for your answer, and you can't do that. Even if you were to make the right choice after going to people, you're still going to run into a really big complication because you did that. So what happens with that is, if you don't make the decision on yourself or through yourself, and you let other people do it, when you make that decision, even if it's right, you're going to hit a speed bump right away. And it's because Divine is going to keep throwing that at you until you stop asking and you make one on your own. And it's going to be right away as soon as you turn around. And you're going to look and all the people you just asked are gone. You will be put in a situation where you have no choice but to go with what you feel and think. It says, if you felt seen by this, if something in you softened or you exhaled, so these are going to be the 3 things that happen to you when you listen to this reading to know it's yours. It was meant for you. So it says, take what resonates. They want you to leave the rest. Trust that what you're being guided towards right now is already aligning in your favor. That is the key with your decision making, is you have to trust that whether it turns out the way you expect it to, or it goes completely the opposite direction, no matter what, it's something you're supposed to be going through, something you have to learn, something that you need to experience for the understanding. So relax. Remember that if you get to the exhausted point, you no longer get to make decisions based off of everyone else's effect of it or how they're going to be affected by it. Okay? At that point, your decision making turns inward, and it is what is good for you at that moment. You're not going to get in trouble for that. You're not going to get bad karma for that. You're not going to get looked at crazy. People you enable might be upset, but that's just the addiction of being enabled part, okay? Like I say, if people truly love you, they're going to understand why you do what you do. Okay, so Libra, that is your ancestral message. If you do have any further questions or want more clarity, my email is in the description box. You can feel free to email me. If you have not yet already, hit like, share, and subscribe. Take a look at the other videos on my page. And good luck on your decision making.